Wallahi, it is really heartbreaking. Sorry, we need to stop. Once we talk about women's rights in Afghanistan, we have to put that into this perspective. You have to accept this. This is their culture. Everyone is praising security, even those who go against them. We visited actually a girls' school, and we saw those young girls studying in the heat under just the shade of the trees. Imagine the teachers in that school, they don't have any salary. They are doing it fi sabilillah. We interviewed the minister of enjoining good and forbidding the evil. And I did ask him specifically about this question. I said, if you see a woman that is not wearing hijab, okay, he said, we advise her. I said, do you force her? We were shocked, all of us. I said, are they, these people, are they the Taliban? Are those people ex-Mujahideen? They said that we started to have some Western tourists. I said, what? They said, yeah, they have around 12,000 Western tourists. I asked him about committing injustice against poor people, maybe violating the women's rights, as they say. And he said that even that is the first thing to be monitored. In fact, there was an incident. I might share the details of that incident. And instead of just criticizing them, let us raise our voice that these economic sanctions have to come to an end. When I interviewed some of the young people, I see in their eyes that, subhanallah, as if they are saying, why you don't consider us as normal human beings? As if they say enough is enough. We have been traumatized by everyday bombing, killing, invasion.
After invasion.
People, foreigners want to enforce their values upon you. He said the French arrest both of my children and they killed both of them in front of my eyes. And you hear really very traumatizing story. Despite that, wallahi, it was shocking. Yani the people were smiling. If you can't help them, just leave them alone. However, I'm not expecting from the Muslim community to leave them alone. I said, Sheikh, you know, one of them could be my wife, could be your wife, and these children could be my children, could be your children. And I say, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So, mashallah, we've seen that you're on a trip, an official trip to Afghanistan. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. This is a delegation comprises a number of senior UK scholars aiming to find facts about what is happening in Afghanistan regarding numerous issues regarding in particular security of the country, regarding economy, also regarding drug control, yeah, and various other issues. We wanted to meet the people. We want also to deliver some humanitarian aid, and we also visited some humanitarian projects, various actually humanitarian projects, and alhamdulillah also we managed to meet some of the officials, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Um, his name is Amir Khan Muttaqi. Also, we managed to meet the Minister of Justice, the Minister of Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahi Anil Munkar, enjoining good and forbidding the evil. We met number of authorities in different levels, but these are the main authorities that we met. Also today, alhamdulillah, we had a program, actually interview in the national Afghan TV called Meri. And we had the pleasure also to meet the director of the channel, Ahmadullah. Yeah, so Alhamdulillah, the trip, I believe it was very successful, very fruitful, Alhamdulillah, and a lot to be learned,
Mashallah.
a lot to be said as well.
Mashallah, mashallah. Sheikh, one of the things that there's been lots of coverage of, especially in the Western media, is the Taliban or the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan's, the government's banning of women or girls from school, from formal education. This is many people have been attacking them for this, and even some Muslim countries, friendly Muslim nations, have spoken out about this. Is this something that you raised with the people? Was this something that the scholars that have been visiting raised, and what was
Yeah,
the government's response to this?
yeah. Actually, we have spoken. Of course, we do not have an official position. Okay, we are
Hmm.
a group of senior Muslim scholars. That's all. So we are not representing any country. We are not representing
Hmm.
any UN body. So we cannot raise it as a questioning. Okay, we can raise it as a matter of understanding, as a matter of um, brotherly discussion. And
Mm.
so this is one thing to be noted. But to be honest with you, when people, I think those people who are criticizing them, they should come to Afghanistan and see the reality of the country. I'm really shocked that people are just focusing on this issue and they are not focusing on number of other social economical issues in Afghanistan. The people who are uh, posing this criticism, I think they are living in comfortable situations, and that's why it is easy for them to criticize people thousands of miles away from them. Um, Different culture, of course, different religion, different value, set values, etc. When we
Mm.
criticize, and to be honest with you, the more I learn about the country here, the more I say to myself, I should not criticize. Okay, I should not also praise before I dig more and more. Okay,
Mm.
or let me put it like this: I should have um, humble criticism, humble praise in the meantime, because things are more sophisticated than a person can grasp within just 8 days of visit. But he can give
Mm.
overall impression. And just now I forgot the name of, they have a natural ice cream dish made from milk. Yeah, it's a nice one, but it has a lot of sugar. Anyway, so so we they invited me, and I was so happy because I want to mix more with different types of people. And I met two young people who just joined the university. One of them is studying English, and one of them is studying IT. And I did ask them about the situation now and the situation before, okay, 2 years ago, when the previous government was there. And yeah, so we had a discussion. I want to know more. Also, the more you listen to, the more you investigate, the more you understand. So I call upon all my brothers and sisters, upon everyone, governments, authorities, etc., not to be simplistic in their approach unless they have an agenda just to smear some people, to attack some people. Then of course they can use any excuse, and they
Mm.
just can throw allegations. Yeah, this is my real advice regarding regarding any country, especially regarding any Muslim country. And I would like to say to my brothers and sisters, please do not listen to, unfortunately, the the Islamophobic media. Yeah, unfortunately, it is mainly broadcasting in the or from the West. So uh, okay, our findings. Okay, let me tell you the findings. And we have reconfirmed this with a number of authorities, with a number of people. Okay, they said that from year one up to year six, education is available for all, yeah, boys and girls. And they say that, and we have confirmed it, okay, with a number of people, as I have told you, and with the people that I just met, independent young people, yeah. Um, uh, so from year one to year six is available for everyone. In fact, many people have said that during this current government, that is that has been there for just 2 years, less than 2 years. Maybe in a few days, they will have the second year completed of their of them being in power. So from year one to year six, it is available for everyone. And in fact, they have established schools in so many provinces where before there were no education for boys and girls.
mashallah.
There were no formal schooling system. Afghanistan is a very big country, okay, just less than or maybe around 700,000 kilometers, very mountains. We traveled, okay, around Kabul, subhanallah, mountains, rocky, high mountains, and you can say, subhanallah, how is yani anyway, I will talk about this later. Who I was about, I always say to myself when I see these mountains, I said, who is that stupid, who is on earth such a stupid country or individual who wants to invade this country? Is impossible, impossible. Anyway, the point is that it is a huge country. There are so many villages. It is agricultural country. It is undeveloped country. It has been in war or different wars for almost 40 plus years. Some people say even before that there were number of wars. So there is no stability, and there are 34 provinces. The current government managed to establish primary education almost in all these provinces. And we have seen some remote areas just in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, and we have seen young people, younger children, just walking safely in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert or in the mountain, boys and girls going to their schools or coming back from
Mashallah.
their schools. So this is one thing. Now, after year six, the education will split into two types: the formal, and I like your question where you said formal education. So the formal education will continue for boys. For girls, they have different avenues of education, mainly the madrasa system and other private institutions. In those madrasa systems and these private institutions, girls study mainly Islamic subjects, and it depends on the availability of teachers, availability of qualified teachers to teach them different subjects. So they have access to those subjects. Uh, the when we ask them, so why did you stop those girls from studying alongside studying in those schools? They said that we don't believe in the current schooling system. We have so many reservations about it, okay, especially for our girls. That's why we suspend it for girls until we come up with an alternative that meets our criteria, meet our values, and of course, Islamic principles. So this is Okay. Now, if we move forward to the university education, to the higher education, they have a lot of reservation on the current university system or higher education system. And I interviewed someone who left the government. Okay, actually, I was so keen to interview him to hear his view as well, because I don't want to listen to one view only. He is a professor, a professor in management, and he resigned just a few months ago. And he said that he believes that an alternative can be established. He said the other ministers, they don't believe that. Sorry, they don't have an alternative at the moment. And it happened that in some of the private universities in Afghanistan, let me just quote how many private university, uh, how many state university. I don't want to get the number wrongly. Uh, okay. Um, yeah. So almost there are almost, yeah, 40 40 state university and 150 private
Wow.
universities in Afghanistan. It's a huge number. So he said
Wow.
that
Mashallah.
it was reported, or there were reports that the private universities are conducting some concerts that go against Islam. So they were concerned about
Mm,
that educational system,
mm,
plus many other things. So this professor, uh, his view was that yes, these things are against Islamic values. However, let us continue until we find an alternative. Okay, they didn't believe that they can continue, and they said, okay, we will suspend it and look for an alternative. Okay, we might agree, we might disagree, but I'm just stating the facts that we found as they are. Okay, so
so,
this is okay. There was
mm,
an exception, although when we verified, I myself, I wanted to verify this exception, and I have actually different views. Some of the authorities, they said that there was an exception for medical subjects, in order to help girls to uh, or help the country to have female doctors and female workers in the medical field. Yeah. Um, I wanted to verify this with some young people. I heard different answers. Some of the young people said, yes, actually, there was an exception for universities and colleges that teach medical subjects or health-related subjects. Some of them, they said that no, no, actually, these institutions were closed. Yeah. So I did not have time to meet the Minister of Higher Education, because actually, as I told you, we are not officials, yeah, and so we cannot impose ourselves. Whoever invites us, okay, we just accept the invitation, yeah, and we
yeah.
take that opportunity to investigate whatever we can investigate or discuss. Actually, we have no power to investigate, but to discuss whatever we want to discuss. So this is the reality. Yeah, I'm stating it. I'm
Mm,
not saying I am with them. I'm not saying I'm against them. All what I'm saying is that we have to be careful before we criticize people for any decision that they have
mm,
taken. We have to be really careful, not oversimplistic. And the more I hear about this criticism and I look at the country, the situation of the country, one of the poorest countries in the world,
mm.
one of the undeveloped countries. In fact, the young people that I met, he, one of them said to me, Sheikh, we are 100 years ago of countries like Britain or maybe the West. Yeah, this is how he put it 100 years ago. No, maybe this is an exaggeration, but believe me, when you visit villages and the people say that just maybe a year ago we did not have electricity. We don't know the electricity, something called electricity. Imagine
Mm.
that. Yeah. And imagine we have visited the school. Inshallah, a report by the brothers Prosper Afghanistan, yeah, will be released
Yeah.
inshallah soon, and with some pictures. We visited actually a girls' school, and we saw those young girls studying in the heat under just the shade of the trees. Then we asked them, what about winter? They said in the winter you don't imagine that the difficulties they go through. Yeah, the degree goes
Mm.
to -20. Yeah, sometimes minus
Wow. Wow.
25 in those villages in the mountains. I said, how on earth,
Mm.
yeah, they will manage to study? And he said some of them do come, yeah, and we collect some wood, we do whatever we can do in order just to keep them a little bit warm, and that continues sometimes
Mm.
to 3 months. Okay, imagine the teachers in that school, they don't have any salary, they are doing it fi sabilillah. Yeah, they don't get any return for that. That is
Mm.
cool. They don't have any, any power supply. They don't have a lamp. Yeah,
No.
a bulb. They don't have electricity. They don't. The water. They have a water well in the middle of the courtyard. Yeah, and using very basic equipment to get water from that water well. Yeah, this is the situation. And by the way, this some brothers said that this village is slightly better than other villages because this village is maybe 3 hours away from Kabul. There are villages that,
Mm.
in the middle of nowhere. The nearest city to that village is maybe 6 hours drive, 7 hours,
Mm.
8 hours drive. Yeah. So when people are talking about women's education in this environment, I feel that the accusations and the criticism is a bit unfair and overloaded. Yeah. Again, I'm not
Yeah.
saying I am with them. I'm not saying I'm against them. As I told you, I interviewed some of the like this former education minister. He believes that there can be avenues that can be organized in order for the higher education,
Mm.
or years after eight. Yeah, there can be avenues for those what is it, grades to be taught for both boys and girls, uh, while the Islamic guidelines are observed. Yeah, this is his view. And
So, Chef, women's rights is one of those things. Obviously, once you're there on the ground and you see the reality, it changes. Perhaps perceptions are changed. Did you have other similar, maybe perceptions of Afghanistan that were challenged or changed when you actually
yeah,
saw the reality
yeah,
on the ground,
yeah,
other than women's rights?
yeah, so many things, so many things. Okay, let us talk about women's rights, although I don't like to follow the Islamophobic agenda. Okay,
Mhm.
women's rights, women's rights, women's rights, and then many of us as Muslims started to believe that Muslims they violate women's rights, and we have to defend, okay, our stances. Yeah, and as a result of this, many of us are suffering from inferiority complex. See, I don't like to feed
Mhm.
into that narrative. However, okay, women, we have seen, I have seen actually one of the TV channels that was, the brothers say, they were saying that this channel was totally anti-Islamic. Yeah. And there were nudity, there were dancing, etc. All non-Islamic practices can be seen in that TV channel. So the Islamic Emirates, they put a law that, okay, you can have women on TV, but they have to wear modest clothes, okay, and their part of the face, not the entire face, have to be covered. In fact, I can share with you later on some of those video clips that I have taken from that channel. Okay, um, and there were women, and it seems to be a women program, and they were discussing various issues related to women. Yeah, so this is regarding. Today we had an interview in the national Afghan TV called Miri. So I asked them about women presenting. They said we have women working in the TV channel, and we have four channels. Okay, the main channel, the main TV channel, and one educational channel. In the educational channel, we have females presenting certain programs, of course, observing what they believe as the Shar'i hijab. Okay, so this is women in media, which is like a critical issue. Actually, my main observation when I landed, okay, when I landed, I saw actually women working in the immigration. Yeah, maybe there were two, and maybe there were like three men. Yeah, uh, women. We saw
Yeah.
them. There were women wearing the traditional clothes. Yep, the this traditional burqa, the blue one. I'm sure
Yeah.
many have seen that. In villages, they are more, of course. In Kabul, we have seen some of them. Um, we have there were some women who are wearing maybe hijab, not the best hijab, but they were wearing it, and no one is talking to them. Yeah, some girls wearing it. Yes, many of them were covering their faces. They are using the what is it, the mask, yeah, to cover their faces, and some of them were not. Yeah, we interviewed the minister of enjoining good and forbidding the evil, and I did ask him specifically about this question. And I said, if you see a woman that is not wearing hijab, okay. He said, we advise her. I said, do you force her? He said, no, we advise once, twice, three times, but every time, okay, we escalate. And he said, we are trying to have an advisory role rather than enforcement, okay, role. Um, uh, yeah, so this is regarding women. We have to understand, brothers.
Yeah.
We have to understand, brothers and sisters. The more I travel, the more I see people, the more maybe I become mature. Don't criticize others. Yeah, don't criticize others before you live, you experience what they go through. Yeah, once you come to Afghanistan, you will be living in a different culture, different environment, even certain things. You know the shirwal kameez. Yeah, I wore
Yeah.
it in Afghanistan, and I never expected that I will wear it in my life. Yeah, I thought the shirwal for me looks odd. Yeah, and it is. I didn't like it, and actually,
Now you're convinced that it's actually a superior
yeah, then
garment?
wallahi, I'm talking, yeah, seriously. When I wore it, okay, the shirwan and qameez, I liked it. I really liked it. It is very practical, very relaxed, and especially in summer. I don't know about winter. So my point is, don't criticize others before you go and see and live.
Yeah.
the situation. Uh, so um, so I asked as I told you, I asked him. He said we don't enforce these laws, but my point is the Afghani culture is very very sensitive when it comes to females. Yeah, and when we went to that school,
Gender
sorry,
interactions. So when it comes to gender
yeah, when it comes to
interactions.
gender interaction or protecting their females,
Mm.
when we visited that village and visited that school, a primary school, I think there were four classes actually, and the youngest, the class that have the
Mm.
youngest girls, I think they were maybe 6, 7, around that. Believe me, when we came, many of those girls or number of those girls, they were turning away and they wanted to hide their faces, and actually some of those girls, they took their garments and put it on, to cover their faces. Girls at the age of 6.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
no one enforced them to do that, but this is, they grew up like this. The girls who are
MashaAllah.
um, maybe 9, 10, many of them, they covered their faces when we came. Yeah, of course,
Mm.
girls above 15 and 16, no way that you can just look at them directly. Yeah, no way. Yeah, so
Mm.
the teachers told us, just be careful, brothers, be careful, no filming. Okay, just you need to come from the back. Yeah, and maybe film from the back. So this is their culture. We visited,
Mm.
what is it, what do you call it, vocational center, to empower or to rehabilitate. I don't know whether the word rehabilitation is the right word. To Actually, it is to educate widows, yeah, who lost their husbands, some
Mm.
basic skills in order to be independent and work by themselves, earn some money to preserve their dignity. Yeah, and you know, you cannot talk to them as we talk to our females in the West. You have to accept this. This is their culture. And even, in fact, because my
Mm.
nature, I just crack jokes with everyone. Yeah, and this is my nature. So the brothers told me, Sheikh, please just be careful of some sensitive cultural issues with sisters, and yeah, just be careful. So this is with regards, once we talk about women's rights in Afghanistan, we have to put that into this perspective. Yeah, not just
Mm. Mm.
women's
Mm.
rights, and the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan is violating women's rights, etc. And throughout our visit, 8 days, we went to many places. We haven't seen, Saudi Arabia, maybe 40 years ago. Sometimes they would just, uh, you know, uh, kind of advise to the level of kind of intimidate those who open their shops while after the adhan. Yeah, this doesn't
Mm.
exist in Afghanistan. Yeah, doesn't exist. People just close their shops ethically. Some of them, they just go to pray, leave them open. It is safe. It is, mashallah, tabarakallah, safe. Yeah, and that's it. So the country is running, and you don't see the members of the Islamic
MashaAllah.
Emirate everywhere, just what is it, intimidating people, forcing people,
No
policing
policing and
people. They have many
MashaAllah.
checkpoints. Yeah, I have to say that they have many checkpoints. And one good thing, I don't want to speak about security because everyone is praising security, even those who go against them. They praise the
Mm.
level of security the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan managed to maintain. Yeah, but like number
Mm.
of people told me that these checkpoints. They said in the previous regime, yeah, people were not respecting those checkpoints, and they would just cross these checkpoints without stopping. And then, as a result of this, they will have arguments, and either the police will slap them, or they will just some of them, if they have power, they might even beat the police or slap the police. Okay, it has happened, as some people say.
Wow.
They said that during this government, that cannot happen. When they say to you stop, okay, then stop. Yeah. I myself was traveling
Mm.
uh, from uh, from an area called Kapsan, something like this, to Kabul, and it was dark. Okay, they don't have electricity everywhere, so it was really very dark and mountains. And then we came across a checkpoint. The driver, he didn't see the checkpoint. Yeah, so he kind of crossed that checkpoint number of times, and I said, oh no, now these armed men, they will just shoot us from the back. Yeah. And actually nothing has happened. Okay, so the guy, I told him, stop, stop, man, stop. So he stopped. Okay, he spoke to them. They spoke to him politely. Why didn't you stop? This is what they told me. He said, I haven't seen you. I didn't see you. And then, okay, thank you, thank you. I think in one of the checkpoints, they asked him whether
Mm.
he has guns or weapons. Okay, and yeah, I think, and that's it. Okay, that's it, which is really wonderful. People,
And when he said no, they said, why not?
no, no, no. I think most of the people here, yeah, uh, I asked them actually about this point. I said, are people armed? Yeah, they said during the previous governments, many people have arms, but when the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan
Mm.
came, they banned this except from the authorities, or people have what is it, official documents, yeah, to carry weapons. Yeah. And
Licensing. Yeah.
some of
Okay.
the mujahideen or ex-mujahideen, it is in their culture. Yeah. Even the people of villages, we visited some villages, as I told you, and
Mm.
I went to pray in like a very basic mosque, and some people entered with their weapons. Yeah, I said, "Oh no, this we don't see these weapons in the UK." Yeah, but people said, "Yeah, it is their culture here in the villages because this was
Yeah.
the way they live."
So, Sheikh.
Yeah, so these are cultural things
Mm.
that we need to be aware of.
Mm.
Yeah, when we speak about any country. Yeah.
So, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. When the Taliban came to power a few years ago
2 years.
now, almost, you wrote some
Yeah.
articles in Psalm 21C talking about some of the macro issues when it comes to implementing Sharia, so-called implementing Sharia
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a country, right, or in the public domain, and so forth, and some
Yeah.
misconceptions about that, and some advice. Did you speak to any senior officials, and what was your advice, when it comes to
You know,
implementing the Sharia, on a
yeah,
in today's day and age?
we'll talk about the implementation of Sharia, but one thing that really amazed us all, the we were shocked, all of us, that whether the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of enjoining the good and forbidding the evil, the Minister of Justice, the Chief Judge, actually, we spoke to him, the Chief Judge, sorry, we
MashaAllah.
spoke to him as well. All of them, we were, and others, yeah, uh, all of them speak in a very soft tone, yeah, to the level that I said, are they these people? Are they the Taliban? Yeah, are those people ex-mujahideen? Yeah, it, it was really shocking for us, all of us. So uh,
Mm.
and I spoke.
Because it's one of the misconceptions maybe, or one of the stereotypes is implementing Sharia means the punishments or something scary that
Yeah,
obviously from an
yeah,
Islamophobic
yeah,
framing
exactly.
to otherwise
But
in
by
Sharia.
the way,
But
yeah,
what was
yeah.
your what was your
Some of the people who work in different departments in the government, they said that we started to have some Western tourists. Yeah, I said what? They said yeah, yeah. We started. Is very. He said according to our statistics this year, yeah, or was it? Yeah, this year so
mm,
far, they have around 12,000 Western tourists, which is really amazing. Yeah, which is really
wow.
amazing. So back to the point, uh, when we interviewed the Minister of Justice, and even the Minister of Enjoining the Good and Forbidding the Evil. They were talking about gradual
Mm,
implementation of Sharia, and Sharia is not about, as people, the stereotype, Sharia is beating up people,
yeah,
punishments, hudud, cutting the whatever. Yeah. No, 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 no. Yeah, no. And uh, we asked him specific questions, yeah, about the implementation of certain things, and he said there is a due process, and certain punishments have not yet been applied in the Imara, okay, in these 2 years, by the grace of Allah Jalla ala, yeah, because people now started to feel secure, and they started to
mhm,
feel that there is a rule of law. They also understood when I spoke to them about that Sharia is a comprehensive way of life, is not just the application of hudud or the prohibition of riba, and they understand that fully. Yeah, at least theoretically in front of
mashallah.
us. Okay, uh, the application,
Mm,
we cannot investigate the application or the implementation of that. Yeah, but they
mhm,
understood
mhm,
it. In fact, when I spoke to the chief judge, yeah, the chief judge, and he is the head of the high court, although he did not go through the formal educational or academic study, yeah, in Islam, but the way he was speaking, wallahi, he was so impressing. Yeah, very clever, very articulate,
mashallah.
very organized, very, very organized. Yeah, very sharp, um, and he knows all these allegations against the Islamic Emara of Afghanistan, against Sharia, and he gave us so many examples of the implementation of the rule of law. In fact, you will be shocked. Yeah, you will be shocked that his ministry, the Ministry of Justice, is overseeing the implementation of Islamic values everywhere in the country. And if there is any violation, yeah, they will report it to him. Yeah, there is a reporting system, and then he will see what can be done, and he will speak directly to the people in charge. And in particular, I asked him about committing injustice against poor people, maybe violating the women's rights, as they say. And he said that even that is the first thing to be monitored. Yeah. In fact, there was an incident.
Mm,
I might share the details of that incident, whereby that incident was reported to us by the Minister of Enjoining the Good and Forbidding the Evil. He said, I asked him about violating uh, the rights of people due to power, using the power to violate rights of people or taking advantage of their power. And he said, this has happened. And he said, it has happened one time that one of our people, stopped a taxi driver, and he warned him once, twice, three times for whatever reason. The taxi driver, over some time, didn't listen to the guidelines. So he said our guy slapped the taxi driver, and the taxi driver did not hold it, and he wrote a complaint. And we investigated, and we found that actually, yes, our member have slapped that person.
Mm.
Immediately we fired him. We called the taxi driver, and they gave him compensation. And the head, or the minister of enjoining good and forbidding the evil, interviewed him and apologized on behalf of the ministry. Yeah. Uh, the minister of
Wow.
justice, the minister of justice, I asked him about imprisonment and these things. He said we have a law that you cannot imprison any person more than 72 hours. Yeah, more than 72 hours, and either he should be charged or released. And funny enough to say that I visited some people here in Afghanistan. One of the brothers, actually, he's from the UK. So he invited me to some of his relatives' house. So I met with them. Yeah, some of them are young, some of them on their 40s, 50s, and their father as well. So just listening to them. So I mentioned to them this issue, and they laughed. I said, "What? Don't tell me that this is not true." Okay. They said, "No, so and so, he was imprisoned by the Ministry of Enjoining Good and Forbidding the Evil. One young boy, he was, I think, 19, something like this." I said, "What? Really?" Yeah. And I said, "How long you were in prison?" He said, 17 hours. I said, 1 7. He said, "Yes." I said, "So they said that we will not exceed 72 hours." Yeah. This is their law. Yeah. So
Mm.
this
It's
is
actually
it.
shorter than the
Yeah.
UK.
Okay. Of course, I have to
Yeah.
say, listen, I have
I
to
mean,
say, brothers and sisters, I have not. I verified whatever I can verify.
mm,
Yeah. But it is impossible for
mm,
me to verify these things deeply. I need months, and I need to live here in order to verify them. But I
yeah.
verified whatever I could verify, and these are my findings. The Minister of Justice, he said something, and another thing that is interesting, or the Minister of Enjoining Good and Forbidding the Evil, and I verified it with people, and they said, yes, this is absolutely right, which is
Mm,
drug dealers. You know, Afghanistan used to have thousands. Of course, now there are, this year in particular, zero opium. Okay, agriculture. Is it opium? They call it hashish opium. Yeah, zero. Yeah,
yeah.
last year there were some, because they have issued the warning last year, and this year they said no, execute. So there were thousands of drug dealers in the streets, and they managed to maybe cut that, cut 90% of their presence, and they send them to
Mm,
rehabilitation centers. Yeah, and they taught them skills, and everyone agrees that
subhanallah.
yes, they were really successful in this. uh, Beggars in the streets, beggars in the streets. There are still beggars in the streets outside the mosques. No one can deny that. Yeah,
Mm,
but the everyone confirms that you don't see them as you used to see them before. Yeah, next to every single traffic light, there are beggars who are begging. Yeah, you don't see that. Of course,
yeah.
in terms of security, this is, I think, everyone is praising that, whether they agree with them or they do not agree with them. They say, look, for example, the money exchange, yeah, money exchange in a very basic uh, setup. They have a person with a stall and with some money, yeah,
Yeah.
and he's just exchanging, and no one can touch the money. No one. See, listen, if, for example, someone from
Yeah.
abroad criticize them for their money exchange system, this will be ridiculous. Go to the country, see the situation of the country, yeah. And instead of just criticizing
Yeah.
them, let us raise our voice that these economic sanctions have to come to an end, yeah. And maybe this is my final message: these sanctions have to come to an end.
Yeah.
It is totally unfair. Those, wallahi, when you travel and you see those young, innocent people, they are those who are suffering the most, especially the people in villages. And the sanctions are affecting them, yeah, in the first place. So, is this fair? And when I interviewed some of the young people, I see in their eyes that, subhanallah, as if they are saying, why you don't consider us as normal human beings? Yeah, you don't consider us as, we are
Yeah.
normal human beings. We have the right to live. We have the right to have secure country. We have the right to have access to good or reasonable healthcare system, educational system, etc., etc.
What are some of the things that people are suffering from due to, oppressive policies and sanctions from Western nations?
See, of course, in order to confirm this, you have to interview hundreds of people. Okay, you see, actually, what we have seen
Mm.
through interviewing some people, that there are mixed feelings. Okay, so some people who are on the uh, maybe age of 40, okay, they, as if they say, enough is enough. We have been traumatized by the everyday bombing, killing,
Invasion
invasion.
after invasion.
People, foreigners want to enforce their values upon you. We interviewed some village people, and there were a group of old people. Maybe they are definitely 70 plus, around 80 plus. And one of them said that that area was controlled by the French. Yeah, as you know that it is the entire NATO invaded Afghanistan. Yeah, 50 plus countries, okay,
Mm.
went with America. Anyway, he said our area was controlled by the French. And he said they have no rahma whatsoever. And they are expecting that, yeah, they come to our country, they invade our country, they control us, they impose their culture upon us. And we do not say no, we do not resist. He said, as villagers, my children participated in riots. One of them was 16 and 18. Imagine, we are villagers. We
Mm.
haven't seen, Westerners in our life, yeah, except the Russians when they invaded our country, and the French. Other than that, we are just living simple life, and we want to get on with our struggles, daily struggles. And so he said the French managed
Mm.
to arrest both of my children, and they killed both of them in front of my eyes. Yeah, because they
Mm.
just participated in riots, and they said these are mujahideen, mujahideen. Okay, Taliban, Taliban. They said they shot them here. Yeah, and you hear uh, stories, really very traumatizing stories. Despite that, wallahi, it was shocking.
Subhanallah.
Yani the people were smiling. Yeah, the people, they want to get on with their life. Yeah, the people have sabr. I imagine that if those people were not Muslims, were not believers, I think they will just go crazy. When we traveled from, we passed by the way, Bagram, yeah, the biggest, yeah, base,
Allah.
American base. And they said that they are now transferring it into
Torture
I
camp.
think marketplace, etc. Okay, we could not manage to visit it anyway. So um, uh, you see the people, the villagers, and they want to get on with their life, and you come as a foreigner and you want to impose certain values upon them. Okay, it doesn't work. And as we said, you see people who lost their arms, lost both of their legs, yeah, lost their eyes, blind people lost one of their eyes. Later on, there was one person, he lost eight of his, eight members of his family in one of the bombings. Yeah.
Allah.
So to be honest with you, I'm so sorry to take long because I am still in Afghanistan and I am still immersed in these feelings.
Mm.
And I really appeal to any person who have a level of human feelings, you know, feelings of a human being. Leave them alone. If you can't help them, just leave them alone. Yeah, don't participate in the stereotyping, criticizing them. Okay, yeah, just leave them alone. However, I'm not expecting from the Muslim community to leave them alone. Yeah, I'm expecting from the Muslim community, from the Muslim
Mm.
Ummah, to help them. Yeah, to help them. They really need help. Subhanallah, masakin, masakin. Sometimes you cannot control your tears when you see these widows, and you can, you know, when you see some of them. I was talking to Sheikh Abdurrahman. I said, Sheikh, you know, one of them could be my wife, could be your wife, you know, and they are sitting very poor. They are learning basic skills of cutting, sewing, and even they don't have
Mm.
material. They use the old bags and in order to learn just some basic skills so they can just live in dignity. One of them has three orphans that she's looking after them. One of them, her husband is paralyzed, and one of them uh, she is alone. There is no one around her from anywhere of her family. Is so sad. And when we visited the orphanage, yeah, and really it is heartbreaking. You see those uh, children. They could be my children. They could be your children. They could be uh, anyone's children, and innocent people studying. We visited one orphanage run by our brothers in human aid, and there were 100 and maybe 20 people in 4 rooms. In each room, yeah, in each room there is almost nothing in the room. This is their accommodation. This is the classroom. Yeah, this is where they eat. This is
Mm.
where they drink. This is where they, you go to the toilet. They have two or maybe three toilets. Have no facilities whatsoever. I wonder whether those younger children they take showers or not. Yeah, and later on there is no heating system, and they just smile. They learn Quran. They learn the basic Islamic knowledge. They learn
Mm.
other skills. Even the educational system is unable to accommodate all these children, and these children could be my children, could be your children. And I say, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, bestow your rahmah upon them, and bestow on rahmah upon us to help them,
Ameen.
to help them, because they are deprived of certain things, and uh, this is a test. As Allah Jalla wa Ala says in the Quran, وَلَوْ يَشَاءُ اللَّهُ لَانْتَصَرَ مِنْهُمْ وَلَكِنْ لِيَبْلُوَ بَعْضَكُمْ بِبَعْضٍ. Allah, could give them in abundance. But Allah Jalla wa ala wants to test us. What are we doing to those people?
Mm.
My call upon the Muslim Ummah, yeah, the Muslim Ummah. We are living a very luxurious life. Yeah, I'm not talking about us in the UK, but I'm talking about the Muslim Ummah in general. Many of us are living luxurious life. Yeah, save some of your money. And instead of just going every day to the restaurants, or even when you go to restaurants, when you spend a lot of money for furniture, for cars, for buildings, for traveling, for just think of those orphans, think of those widows, think of those devastated people. Yeah, and uh, think, okay, when on the day of resurrection, when Allah Jalla wa ala questions you, yeah, oh my slave, I became hungry, I became hungry and you did not feed me. And then we will say, Ya Rab, how are you going to become hungry? How do you become hungry? Allah Jalla wa ala, look at this, why Allah Jalla wa ala said that he became hungry, because he wants to show us how significant is to help your brothers and sisters, to help Muslims, yeah, and to help people in general. So Allah Jalla wa ala would say, didn't you know that so and so became hungry, yeah, and you did not help him? What did we prepare for this questioning?
Mm.
Yeah, and see, if Allah Jalla wa ala says, وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَكُنُوا أَمْثَالَكُم. If you turn away and you don't help others, Allah Jalla wa ala will bring those people who can help and provide aid for others. And of course, all of us.
So Alhamdulillah, Sheikh, we have our charity partner this year, Human Aid and Advocacy, that we can easily donate to these causes through. I'll put a link, share a
Yeah,
link around for brothers and sisters watching at home to set up some regular giving to try to do
yeah.
our
Yeah,
best when it
wallahi,
comes to
wallahi,
helping our
we
brothers and
have
sisters there
seen some of
and
their
lift
projects,
themselves up
amazing
towards each
projects.
other.
In fact, one of the very amazing projects that we have seen is that
MashaAllah.
they are becoming the partners of an organization that have taken a very big center of vocal training. Okay, vocal training, they call it vocal training, yeah, vocational,
MashaAllah.
sorry, vocational training. Very
Vocational.
big center. That center was established by the Korean government, and they pulled out
Mm.
just 6 months before
Wow.
before Taliban liberating their country or taking over.
Mm.
So, and that center was empty. No one is using it. It was well equipped with the equipment that okay, that provide the
Mm.
skills for in different fields. So the brothers in human aid managed to have partnership with the organization in charge of that, and they started to run that. Yeah. So actually, and they have one orphanage, and this they have a vocational center for widows. Yeah, and also they are sponsoring. Wallahi, it is really heartbreaking. Sorry, we need to stop. We visited one village, out of nowhere, and I don't know how, yani, they managed to get into those people. And they said to us, they said that there are thousands, if not tens of thousands, of those widows. Yeah, they
Mm.
living in a very simple hut, no electricity, no facilities, nothing. Yeah, and they gave them zakah money in cash, because the Islamic Council of Europe, we are in the Islamic Council of Europe, did not approve uh, giving zakah except in cash to the recipients. And the father of, I don't know, the father who passed away, or the father of the widow, he was a very old person, and he was over the moon, and he came out of that hut that is made of clay hut, and when we left by cars, and he was making dua, and he was overwhelmed by just, I don't know how much they gave him. They gave him, I think, small amount. It's not thousands, yeah. But so I call really upon my brothers and sisters, yeah, cut some of your I don't want to use the word extravagance, yeah, some of your expenses, yeah, save them, to save them, and those expenses will help you on the day of resurrection, my dear brothers and sisters, in the grave. Wallahi, you will wish if you have given all of your money fi sabilillah, yeah. Once you are questioned on the in the grave, as the Prophet ﷺ said, the person will be questioned in the grave, and the punishment, the adab, will about to attack him, and then the sadaqah will defend him. Yeah, the sadaqah will defend him. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Ittaqun nara walau bishiqqi tamra." Put a screen between you and the fire of hell, even by donating part of the date, you know, as a sadaqah. So, brothers and sisters in the UK, mashallah, you are very, very rich. You are very, very generous. And some of us are rich, alhamdulillah, even those who are not rich enough. But alhamdulillah, we have enough access to the basic needs and extra. Um, I think the more we give sadaqah, the more, inshallah, Allah will put barakah in our children, in our money, in our life. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam swore an oath that sadaqah will never decrease your wealth. And Allah Jalla wa'ala mentioned that, okay, whoever gives sadaqah is actually giving Allah Jalla wa'ala alone. Man ذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا. And Allah Jalla wa'ala will return it after Allah Jalla wa'ala multiplies it for you a number of times. We ask Allah Jalla wa'ala to help us, to help them. Jazakallah khair for this interview. I know I myself, I was tired, yeah, and I really want to go to bed here. It is almost, yeah, but you see,
Jazakallah khair for
it is very, very emotional
taking
to
out some
speak
time,
about
Shaykh.
this experience. And although there is a lot of hope, yeah, alhamdulillah, but yeah, the person will never despair. The Muslim will never despair. لا ييأس من روح الله إلا القوم الكافرون. And inshallah, the country has a lot of potential. Afghan people have a lot of potential. We ask Allah Jalla wa
Sheikh,
Ala to help them and to help us as well. Yes.
Sheikh, when you return, inshallah, safely, inshallah, from your trip, we want to speak to you. We've got lots of questions about, the government, its political aims, its relationship with other nations, and so forth.
Yeah.
So when you do return, inshallah, safely, we
Yes.
want to continue
Definitely.
and probe even
Yes.
further. But
Definitely.
it's been a
Inshallah.
very good.
Inshallah.
You've given us very good insight into the humanitarian situation here on the ground there, some of
Yeah.
the improvements, some of the surprises that you had, the presumptions versus the reality when you landed, in Afghanistan. So we hope you
Yeah.
have the rest of your trip in a safe way and in a
Ameen,
productive manner.
Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Jazakallah khair,
Nastawdakumullah,
Jazakallah khair. May Allah
for
reward
your
you.
journey, inshallah.
Yeah, and
And
please share this information with
yeah.
everyone as soon as possible. Yeah, share it
And
with
we encourage
everyone
brothers
because
and sisters to donate generously. We'll
yeah,
put the links to the projects they can donate go directly
yeah,
to the brothers and sisters
yeah,
over there in Afghanistan to
yeah,
help alleviate the poverty and help them, train themselves in their community and lift themselves out of
yeah,
poverty, inshallah. And
yeah,
in the next,
yeah,
inshallah, when you return in the next conversation, we'll talk about maybe some other things that we can do from here, from the Western countries, for example, maybe politically, what kinds of campaigns, what kinds of pressure we can put on our governments, for example, and other governments
inshallah.
to
Yeah,
stop starving
yeah,
the innocent
yeah, yeah.
Afghans, to stop
Definitely,
the
definitely.
sanctions, to stop the oppression of the Afghans. So Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. We'll let you
Okay.
go to
Barakallah
sleep there,
feek.
inshallah.
Jazakallah
Sorry for taking
khair.
so much of your
Jazakallah
time.
khair. Okay.
Barakallah fikum.
Barakallah feek.
Jazakallah
Okay.
khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.